We are working with an investor, and he is requesting us to provide a detailed plan of how we are planning to structure the investment. Any help? Okay. Also, the investor asked if we could take Bitcoins. Can we accept those as an investment? Interesting. Okay, so here's what I would. Here's how when I put myself in your shoes as someone, and let's say I'm going to assume that this is the first time you've gone out for funding. What you want to try and think about is a convertible loan. So what that is that when you go into this relationship, you're offering, and this reduces the risk for the investor and increases their odds of saying yes. So you're trying to reduce the friction and get them to yes. A convertible loan is a good option for this, and here's how it works. One, you're distributing this 35%. That 35% goes to, right off the top, goes to that investor. They just bought that. Let's say it's $100,000. Let's say they've got now 1.5 million shares is their 35%. What happens is you start paying back as the revenue grows in the business. You start paying back that investor, and you're literally buying back those shares over, let's say, a 3 or 5 year period. 5-year period. First 2 years, no payments. You're using that money. Third, fourth, fifth year, you start paying back that loan. This is based upon the projections that you're going to actually succeed in growing the revenue that you say you're going to grow. At the end of those 5 years, they may keep 5% of the company. You've bought back 30% of those shares, so they may be left with like 250,000 shares. They've got their money back with some interest. They've reduced their risk, and you got the cash. And so convertible loans are really, really effective at the beginning stages, particularly early angel investment stages of businesses between $50,000 and let's say $250,000. Highly effective because now it reduces that risk, and the investor feels, at least inside, they feel like they've created a safety mechanism to be able to make that investment work. So I'd be looking at a convertible loan. I would be looking at if it's an angel in first round, you're looking at 30, 35, 40% of the business. I would be leery of anybody who starts going more, because that investor may not have your best interest at heart. So you want to be interviewing. Here's the second thing. You want to be interviewing those investors just as much as they're interviewing you, because you're going to go into a relationship with them. And once that is signed on the line, and once the money's transferred and it sits in your bank account, you have shook hands with that person. You're now married. And your business model became their business model. And they're going to be interested in making sure this business grows, because that's their hard-earned cash. So you want to be making sure that the character of that person is strong. If somebody comes to you and says, I want 60, 70%, this is the first initial angel investment stage, I'm going to have to ask myself, wow, man, that's pretty serious. And I would start asking, what do I get for that beyond the money? So what you want to do is look beyond money. Money is one thing, but what kind of networks do they have? Who do they know, in particular, who can help you grow your business so that they can introduce you to? Can they introduce you to buyers, people who would buy your product or service? Do they have people who can help come on board and help you grow your business? These are values beyond the cash. So I'd be looking for an investor who doesn't just bring cash, but also brings networks and other resources that they're willing to plow into the business. And it's not just an investment for them to have some control over your company or feel like they're important, which a lot of investors do. And then you also want to make sure that investor has some training on how to be an investor, because there are a lot of investors out there who have a lot of money but have no clue what it means to invest. And then they can help make it more difficult for your business by getting too involved and feel like they have the right to because they invested in your business. So back to the original question, convertible loan is my best advice to you right now at the beginning stage. Or you could do a crowdfunding with nobody has any ownership. But if the investor's asking you for more detail, you want to provide, remember, they want a return on their investment. That's number one. How are they going to get that return? How are you going to grow the cash? How are you going to grow the business so that they know that at the end of this 5 or 7 year period, there's some kind of return transition that gets them back their money, plus generally investors like 100% or more return on their investment.
So to be clear, the Bitcoin question.
I didn't got that. That was my next one. So, yeah, you can take Bitcoin. It's cash. Turn it into cash, or you spend a quarter of that Bitcoin and turn it. You leverage that cash in different ways. But Bitcoin, any of those kind of currencies that are out there that you can turn into cash, particularly Bitcoin, you could end up making more money, because I wouldn't spend if I got some funding in Bitcoin. I would be distributing and selling that Bitcoin only when I had to distribute payrolls or some expense, because particularly today, if you're watching Bitcoin's going up, right? And the ideal situation for Bitcoin is a very chaotic world. Oh my gosh, are we in that right now? Then Bitcoin has the potential to go up because it's not held by all these traditional rules and regulations. It's managed through itself, right? And that literally you could take that Bitcoin and then let it sit there and only sell those Bitcoins as you need the cash. And it's possible you would actually come out ahead and make some money. So I'd be really smart. And this goes back to having really good team members, an account manager, somebody who understands, or an advisor who helps you understand, okay, now you've got these 100 Bitcoins, 200 Bitcoins. Now what are you going to do with those? And I wouldn't cash them all at once for sure, because unless you saw a trend where it was diving down, right now the trend is up.